Let's go live to the Prime Minister, Anthony Albanese.
Pleased also that we're joined today by the Chief of the Defence Force, General Angus Campbell, and the Secretary of the Defence Department, Greg Moriarty. Thank you for joining us, gentlemen. I'm also pleased today to be with my Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister and two gentlemen who are distinguished in their contribution to the defence of this nation and who I will talk a little bit more about in the coming minutes. People would be aware that in my ANZUS 70th anniversary speech before the Parliament, I announced a Defence Force Posture Review, and that I elaborated on that in my Lowy Institute speech in the last year and indicated that what we needed to do is what we are announcing today. And I'm pleased to launch a Defence Strategic Review, which will ensure that the Australian Defence Force is well positioned to meet the nation's security challenges over the next decade and beyond. This review will prepare Australia to effectively respond to the changing regional and global strategic environment and ensure that Defence's capability and force structure is fit for purpose, affordable and delivers the greatest return on investment. It is incumbent on us to deliver a frank assessment of our capabilities and pipeline, to take stock of the billions of dollars in defence investment programs, many of which are over budget and delayed, to ensure holistic consideration of Australia's Defence Force structure and posture by including force disposition, preparedness, strategy and associated investments. I have commissioned this review to ensure that Australia has the necessary capability to defend ourselves in the most complex strategic environment we've encountered as a nation in over 70 years. It is for this reason we have appointed former Minister for Defence and former Foreign Affairs Minister, Professor Stephen Smith, and the former Chief of the Defence Force, Sir Angus Houston, to lead the review. Professor Smith and Sir Angus bring a unique blend of knowledge and experience to their role as independent leads. Their depth of expertise will be invaluable in informing this review. As independent leads, they will ensure the review's recommendations are informed by strategic assessments of the most concerning threats that challenge Australia's security. I'll ask the Deputy Prime Minister to speak, and then Professor Smith and Sir Angus will make comments. We're happy to take questions on these matters before we turn to any other questions that people might have. DPM.
Thank you, Prime Minister. The first priority of the Albanese government is to keep Australians safe. In 1985, the Hawke government, Defence Minister Kim Beazley, commissioned then Chief of Joint Intelligence Paul Dibb to undertake a strategic review which he handed down in March of 1986. It was the strategic basis for the 1987 Defence White Paper and every White Paper since, including the White Paper in 2016. It established a strategic setting for this country for 35 years. And inherent in that was an idea that if any country meant to do us harm, we would be given a 10-year warning. In 2020, the Defence Strategic Update observed for the first time that we are within that 10-year window. It was a very significant observation, an observation with which this government agrees. But it left a question hanging, which is, given that, what are we going to do? And answering that question is what this review will do. And we couldn't want for two more qualified and eminent Australians to undertake this review in Professor Stephen Smith and Sir Angus Houston. This review will look at questions of force posture. This is the force posture review, but it is much more than that. It will look at questions of force structure. It will look at questions of capability. It will ask and answer foundational questions about, given our strategic circumstances, what is it that we want our Defence Force to do on behalf of our nation in this moment? And given the complexity of the strategic circumstances that we face today, actually this review is much bigger than DIB. This will be the most significant review that we have seen of our Defence Force in decades. We've asked the reviewers to report in the first part of next year. The timing of that is important because it means that this will run concurrently with the exercise that we're currently undertaking with the United States and the United Kingdom under the banner of AUKUS around the selection of Australia's future submarine. And given the significance of that platform, it's really important that both bodies of work happen concurrently and are able to cross-pollinate each other. Together, these bodies of work are going to lay the foundations for defence policy for our country for decades to come. And underpinning the mission of both will be making sure that Australians are safer.